Kia ora, I'm John Tucker, Principal of Carey Baptist College, and this is the annual report for Carey Baptist College for the year ending September 2024. When I reflect on this year, I find myself reaching for the words of Psalm 126, where it says in verse 3, "The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy." During the last year, the Lord has done great things for our theological college. He's shown his favour to Carey in several significant ways, and I'm really keen to share some of them with you. Firstly, our people. This year we farewelled Dr. Andrew Pickard after 14 years of service on our faculty. We celebrated with Nerily Hollis, her 20 years of faithful ministry, and we welcomed Katie and Dan Cuttress as the new leaders of our intermission program. And I watched again with wonder and joy as the Lord continued to shape the Carey team. Jesus has assembled at Carey a very special team of lecturers who are not just gifted academics, they're experienced leaders who are actively engaged in ministry and mission. And that's why our lecturers can help their students integrate the riches of their faith with the realities of their context and the rhythms, the practices of ministry and mission today. That's why our lecturers love speaking at Easter camps and teaching at youth leaders training weekends and presenting at regional hui for Baptist pastors. And that's why they focus their research and publications on equipping churches and leaders to participate in God's mission in this world. So that's our people, and I thank the Lord for what he has been doing in shaping our team this year. But what about our property? Earlier this year, we sold our Penrose campus with the hope of finding a new site by the end of this year, fitting it out next year before moving into it by the beginning of 2026, when we'll be celebrating Carey's centenary. Well, our list of search criteria for the new property was very long, very demanding, and yet, incredibly, we've found and purchased a site that ticks every single box. It's 1-7 Marewa Road, Green Lane in Auckland. The Baptist National Support Centre, Arotahi, and the Northern Baptist Association have all invested in the new site and will be co-located there with us. We're really excited about our new home. It'll provide Carey with an excellent, purpose-built learning environment for our students, while also generating new income streams to support the college and the wider union. The Lord has been very kind to us. What about our pathways? Some 98 years ago, our family of churches established Carey to train leaders for Baptist ministry and mission. And in recent years, we've done this primarily by offering students a choice of 3 pathways accessible to students right across Aotearoa. The pastoral leadership track for people with a recognised call to pastoral ministry. That's 3 years, full-time or part-time. Then there's the mission leadership track for people wanting to be equipped for mission service, whether in Aotearoa or overseas, and that's 1 to 2 years, part-time or full-time. And then there's the ministry leadership or internship track for those who are wanting to be equipped for their roles as ministry leaders, or wanting to test a sense of call to Christian ministry, or simply wanting a formational year of Christian ministry and study. And that track, that pathway is anything from 6 months to 3 years or more, part-time or full-time. Well, this year, as a result of changes in government policy, we've been able to add another pathway, micro-credentials. Now, these are shorter and they're lighter pathways of training from, like 16 weeks part-time up, and they're ideal for people who are not able to commit to a larger program of study and training. In 2024, we launched 2 new micro-credentials, a certificate in ministry supervision and a certificate in Christian leadership. So, our people, our property, our pathways, well, let me tell you a little bit about our professional development. In addition to these various pathways that I've just named, our Centre for Lifelong Learning has continued to expand the suite of training resources available to Christian leaders. This year it offered 14 webinar series, attracting a total of 554 individual registrations. It provided boundaries training for 320 Baptist leaders and child protection training for 376 leaders. Another highlight was the launch of a new podcast for pastoral leaders. We're calling it A Beautiful Work. The major event of the year was the conference we hosted in July on the Psalms and Christian worship. This was a massive and complex undertaking led by Dr. Michael Rhodes. It wove together a vast cast of biblical scholars, church leaders, creative musicians from a range of cultural backgrounds. It was motivated by a conviction that in the Psalms, we find a framework for worship that is rich enough and big enough to renew and sustain the church in its life and witness. And we've been praying that this event might catalyse new songs and forms of worship within our churches. And the Lord is already answering our prayers. You'll find out more about that in the year and years to come. But then finally, let me talk about our performance. In June this year, the government conducted its 4-yearly external evaluation and review of the college, EER. It awarded Category 1 status to the college, with the review team concluding that it is highly confident in both our educational performance and in our capability for self-assessment. Remarkably, the review panel issued no recommendations or requirements as a result of their evaluation. This is the best possible result that can be achieved, and quite extraordinary after all the disruptions that COVID has caused to our churches and our students. As one commentator said, this result reflects an extraordinary quantum of work from everyone on the college staff. It reveals a profound culture of excellence, which fits Carey well for the educational environment within which it must work and indeed thrive. I think it also reflects the faithfulness and the provision of God. So as I look back on this last year, as I look back on 7 years as principal, I find myself saying the Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Nearly 99 years ago, our family of churches began Carey to train leaders for Baptist ministry and mission. And that's why Carey exists, to form leaders who can passionately proclaim Jesus, faithfully teach Scripture, sensitively read culture, selflessly nurture disciples, and courageously guide communities into fuller participation in the mission of God. And I look forward with anticipation to watch the way the Lord continues to bless Carey, so that in partnership with local churches, we may continue to form leaders who can equip God's people for the work of ministry and engage in God's mission of renewing this world. May it be so. God bless.